Did you know that tongue tie is often associated with ADHD and autism? I've recently been for an appointment with a myofunctional therapist who did an assessment on my airways and to see whether I had tongue tie. I'm going to tell you about it now, why I did it and how it might be helpful for you. Here's just a little bit of background as to why I ended up going for this appointment. For the last couple of years, I have been dealing with some throat and sinus related issues. I seem to have postnasal drip. I throat clear a lot, and it just feels like I have a lot of, sorry for the information, but a lot of excess mucus in my throat. I did see an ear, nose and throat consultant over a year ago because I was just a little bit worried, but he put a camera up my nose and down the back of my throat, and he said there was some mild inflammation in my nose and throat, but there was nothing sinister going on. And he suggested that it could be postnasal drip or silent reflux. So he initially offered me PPIs, which I'm not going to take. That's for my own personal reasons. I'm not really someone who takes medication unless absolutely necessary. And I believed it was more the postnasal drip causing it. So I've tried various things and I have got some mild relief. But then by accident, I came across some information about tongue tie, and I started looking into it a little bit, and we all associate it, well, most of us associate it with babies who have tongue tie and they can't feed properly and they have their tongue tie snipped when they're a baby. But I haven't got an obvious tongue tie. But when I started looking into this a little bit more, I actually realised that I actually think I do have a tongue tie. And as we do, we love to research, don't we, being neurodivergent. I started researching into it. What I found out was the natural, where is your tongue now? Sorry, I just want to ask this. Where is your tongue sitting now? Just kind of notice where it is. And my tongue sits quite low in my mouth. Quite often when I'm at resting, the tip of my tongue is behind my front teeth. The rest of my tongue is to the lower part of my mouth. But I found out during my research that your tongue is actually meant to be, this is the roof of your mouth, it's meant to be completely suctioned to the top, including the back of your tongue. And that promotes proper breathing, proper nasal breathing, and clearer airways and room in your jaw for your teeth to grow properly. And that's how it's supposed to be. Mine's not like that. So I started doing even more research into this. I'd just like to add that I have, during the night, I often wake up thirsty in the night. I wake up multiple times a night, which can be commonly associated with being neurodivergent. But when I wake up in the morning, my mouth's really dry. When I mouth tape, it's a lot better. But for some reason, even with mouth taping, sometimes I wake up with a dry mouth. I have noticed that I kind of jump all of a sudden in the night, and I don't think I have sleep apnea, but my sleep is very disturbed. And in the research, I found that if you're not breathing through your nose at night, you're not sleeping properly. You're not going to have a proper sleep, and you're not breathing properly either. So I decided to go to a myofunctional therapist for an assessment of my airways and throat and tongue. So when I got to my appointment, the lady who was assessing me and also the owner of the business, they were both very interested in the fact that I was autistic and had ADHD because I'd filled a form in before I went. They were asking me quite a few questions about it. And when I asked them, how come you're so interested in this? They basically said that nearly everyone that comes into their clinic has ADHD or autism or both, which was really interesting to me. There have been apparently studies done that show there is quite a big association between being neurodivergent and mouth breathing, or not breathing properly through your nose, and sleep apnea and all these kinds of airway dysfunctions that can cause problems for us in life. So I found that really interesting. I was at my appointment for about an hour and a half. During that time, the lady who assessed me did lots of different tests on me to see how long I could breathe out my nose for. She asked me questionnaires about my sleep. She took photos of inside my mouth, what kind of movements my tongue could do, and of my whole body, like to see what my posture was like. There were loads of different tests. I also had to drink water to see how I swallow. I think I was supposed to do a chewing test with some oat crackers, but I have got an intolerance to oats, so we didn't do that. And basically she said that she was going to write a report for me, which I received the other day, so I'll tell you what that said now. Turns out I do have a tongue tie and I have got lip ties. So I'm going to try and show you the tongue tie. It's not very obvious because it's nearer to the back. We all have a bit under our tongue, but it depends on how much it restricts your tongue. So that bit actually is too tight and it stops my tongue from resting on the roof of my mouth. So while I can consciously most of the time I try and think to nose breathe, I do that, but then my automatic default is to mouth breathe, which causes a lot of problems in the long run. I also have lip ties on both my upper and lower lip, and sorry, this is going to look weird, but there. So again, everyone has that skin attaching the lip, but it depends how tight it is. So during my assessment, we also discovered that I have an incorrect swallowing pattern. The way I swallow is wrong, and that is as a result of all of this is obviously linked together. So as a result of this, it has made the way I swallow incorrect. So I actually swallow a lot of air, which makes so much sense for me because I often get bloated even off drinking water, and I always wondered why. And the lady who assessed me, who was a professional speech and language pathologist, and she's got other qualifications, I'm sorry I can't remember what they are at the moment, but she basically said that I'm swallowing air, it's causing me to be bloated, and obviously that's why I'm getting bloated off water, but it's also caused by all the other things that are going on in my mouth and airways. Now, all of these things are something that a lot of people experience. Here's an interesting thing that I was fascinated by. So what she told me was there is a branch of the vagus nerve in the roof of our mouth, and the vagus nerve helps to calm you down. Being neurodivergent, we are often overstimulated. We are often in fight or flight response, and that is because our nervous systems are often dysregulated. So I have said this in another video before. I sucked my thumb from when I was a baby until I was 18. I just want to say not in public. But it does feel a bit embarrassing to say that, but I forced myself to quit. And I asked the lady who assessed me, have I caused this by sucking my thumb? And she said, no, it's kind of the opposite. What she explained to me, which I found fascinating, was when we are babies, our tongue should naturally rest on the roof of our mouth. And when it does, it gently presses on that branch of the vagus nerve and calms our system. If your tongue can't reach the roof of your mouth as a baby, you are going to overcompensate in other ways. And you're going to find other ways to press on that nerve, like sucking your thumb or a dummy and things like that. That is why I suck my thumb, because my tongue wouldn't reach the roof of my mouth. And when I suck my thumb, it calmed me down, and that makes so much sense. So I'm hoping this might make sense for some of you out there. I was fascinated by this appointment. I learned so much from it, and I actually came home while I was waiting for my report. I came home and did so much more research on what this means. Now, from what I can understand, I'm not a medical professional, but basically I found out that when we have these myofunctional disorders in our airways, tongue and swallowing and jaw and everything, it causes like TMJ and TMD. The intense jaw pain and things like that. Our body overcompensates. So it might be that we compensate through our muscles. So often it can cause really tense shoulders, which I do have. It can cause hip pain. It can cause problems throughout the body just because your tongue isn't where it's supposed to be. It leads to sleep disorders, which, if left untreated, will eventually lead to sleep apnea. And if that sleep apnea goes on for too long without being treated, then it is only surgery that can correct it. I got my report back the other day and it mentions everything: the lip ties, the tongue tie, the swallowing pattern and things like that. So I am basically going to be having 6 sessions of myofunctional therapy. When I left my assessment with the myofunctional therapist, they gave me this kit, and as you can see, it's got like special type of mouth tape in it. It's got all different tools that we will be using when I have my therapy appointments. So the idea is to train the tongue to sit in the right place if possible, to train the jaw and the airways, and just to try and get things healthier in here so I can breathe through my nose more easily. I actually can breathe through my nose quite easily, but my default is to mouth breathe because of the way my tongue is. So what I'm going to do is have these 6 therapy sessions, and then at the end of it, they will assess whether or not I need to have a tongue tie release and the lip tie releases. I have watched videos of these and it's quite a relatively simple procedure. It's usually done with a laser or scissors. Obviously it's numbed first. And what happens is you have to do the exercises beforehand and after, because if you just have a tongue tie release without having done these myofunctional exercises, your tongue doesn't know where to go or what to do. Whereas if you train your tongue to get stronger so it's trying to reach the roof of your mouth, when that tongue tie is released, it will just automatically go up there where it's supposed to be. Same goes for the lip ties. Because of these lip ties, she noted on my report that I have a lot of tension around here and also around my eyes as well. So my body has been overcompensating in different ways for years. As I mentioned earlier, my shoulders often feel like they're up here. I've watched videos of tongue tie and lip tie releases and the person automatically feels different. They feel their whole body relaxed because our tongue is connected to it's part of our fascia in our body, and it connects all down the front. I'm not an expert on this, but it connects like all over your body. So it has the ability to relax muscles in other areas of your body when you have the tongue tie release. I don't know whether I'll need that. I'm going to do the therapy first and then see, but I'm quite open to having that done and therefore hopefully being able to breathe better at night. I just wanted to bring you this information because there is obviously an association with being autistic, having ADHD and having sleep disorders. We don't sleep very well, and if there's a correlation between tongue tie or breathing issues caused by whatever's going on in our mouth or throat or airways, and it is linked to ADHD and autism, then it's something we should know about. It is not a commonly known about thing, especially in the UK. Apparently myofunctional therapy is relatively new in the UK, so it's not, as far as I know, it's not available on the NHS, but it can reduce your immune system and everything, so it can cause a host of other problems throughout the body, and sometimes by correcting all of this, it corrects other things. Even if having myofunctional therapy or a tongue tie release relaxes the nervous system, then that's a massive positive, because if you're anything like me, you know what it's like a constant state of anxiety or fight or flight mode. We're often on edge being neurodivergent, and if that nervous system is more relaxed, then maybe we're less likely to get overstimulated, which is only a positive thing. So I wanted to let you know, in case you were dealing with something similar or if you were unaware of this. So remember, where your tongue is now, it should be suctioned to the roof of your mouth, the back as well, not just the tip of your tongue, the whole back of your tongue. And if it's hard to do or if it hurts at the back, then it is possible you've got a tongue tie. So I am not a medical professional, just a reminder for that. But if you think you've got a tongue tie, then have a look into it online or see if you've got a myofunctional therapist in your area, because if it's going to improve the quality of your life or your child's life or someone you care about's life, then it's worth looking into. Thank you so much for watching. I'll keep you updated on my journey with this because I'm fascinated about it. I obviously won't film the therapy sessions because I am paying someone for these, and it's their living that they're making, and everyone's individual as well. So the exercises I do will not be the same as ones you do. So it is really important that we look for the other factors that can improve our life, and I think this is one of them for those of us who may struggle with mouth breathing or having a tongue tie. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, please like and subscribe and check out my other videos. This will be part 1, and I will update you further when I have more information and when I've done some of the therapy to let you know how it's going. Thank you, bye.